Hello Year 1, this is your maths lesson for Friday. I hope you've enjoyed your learning for this week. I'm in school, so this lesson is just going to be available recorded today. And we're going to be moving on from what you looked at yesterday of adding up amounts of coins to comparing amounts of coins. So we've been using these symbols quite a lot in our maths lessons. 1S like to think of these as crocodiles. So the crocodile each time is going to eat the bigger number. So where its mouth's really wide, that needs to point to whichever number is the biggest. And also, sometimes you might have amounts of coins that are equal. So if they're the same on each side, then the sign in the middle needs to show that it's balanced, it's the same, it's equal. If we look at this first one, have a look and see what coin's being used. So we've got each of these is 1 penny. So this is a nice easy start for us because we just need to count in ones. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. So think about which way the crocodile's going to go, because these amounts aren't equal. It's going to eat the 4 because it's biggest. And this time, have a little look at the numbers that are on these coins. We can see that they're all 2. So this time we just need to count in 2s. 2, 4, 6 on this side, 2, 4. Again, have a think about which way you think the crocodile's going to go. Let's see if you're correct. Yes, he's going to eat this number. So you can imagine having the teeth here. And last of all, we've got counting in 5s. 5, 10, 15, and on this side as well, 5, 10, 15. So have a think in your head which sign it's going to be. And you were correct if you recognised that it was the equal sign. Excuse me. And this time we've got a mixture of coins. So we're going to have a look at our addition skills to add these together. So we've got 2 2s, 2, 4, and one more is going to give us 5. Let's look on this side. We've got 5, and one more is 6. So this side was 5, this side was 6. Our crocodile's going to eat 6 because it's the biggest number. On this side, now we're going to be doing a little bit more work on this on a different board in a second, but be using your addition skills, think about which numbers you'd add together first. I'm going to talk through my thinking for this one. So on this side, we've got 2 5s. I'm going to add those, even though the 2's first, I'm going to do these because I know they make 10. And once I've got 10, it's nice and easy to add the 2 to make it 12. And on this side, I know that this is 5, and I know that these two together make 4. Now, if I use my fingers or I think about the Numicon in my head or any other resource, I know 5 and 4 makes 9. So we've got 12 and 9. They're not equal. The crocodile has to eat this big number. And down here, we've got a mixture of 10s and 5s. 10, and if I add these two together, that also makes 10, which is 20. And actually, we've got the same coins in a different order at this side, 2 5s and a 10. So those are equal. Let's now have a look at this board, just to do a bit of revision on that. So we've got our coin that looks like this. I'm sorry these aren't in colour, they're the only ones available on here, but you can still see the numbers. So we've got 1 and our 1 of Numicon. Our 2 pence, we've got 2. Our 1 pence is just worth 1. Although it's a small coin, this is actually worth much more, it's worth 5. 1 and 10. What I'd like you to think about doing is how you'd add those numbers together if you had to total the coins, what order you might do it in, which you might add together first. And I'll talk you through one way, but there are lots of different ways that you might think about it. So I think what I'm going to do to count is I'm going to put my 10 and my 5 together, and that makes 15. I'm going to write that number so you can see what it looks like as a number as well. So far I've added those together and I've got 15. Now I'm going to move some of these smaller ones together. To make it even clearer, I'll put our coins in the right places as well. So I had my silver coins here, 10 and 5 was 15. Now I've got these smaller coins, my 2 and my 3 ones. And I can see when I put those together that they make another 5. 5 can be made of a 2 and a 3. So altogether there we've got 20. Just a bit of revision of some strategies of how you can add the coins to make a total. So this strategy was putting them together, getting the silver coins and getting the coppers all together, and then thinking about ways to add the numbers. So we ended up all together 15 here and 5 here, and all together that gave us 20 pence. Let's have a look at the next screen. So we've got different amounts here. We've got 10, and here, see, even though some of these coins are small, this 20 is worth much more. It's double the size of the 10. And then we've got our 5s as well. Doesn't want to stay. Let's put that there. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 5s, and then here we've got a 1. So again, you don't need to add in order. I'm looking here first and I can see 10 and 20 is really easy to do. 10 pence, add 20 pence, gives us our 30 pence. I can just swivel these 5s around to make this a little bit easier. So when we put our 2 5s together, that makes 10. We can see we get the same shape. So now this makes it much easier to add. The 10 and the 20 is 30 pence. If I have 4 5s, that's a bit of multiplication ready for next week. 4 5 pences made 10, 20. Then we've just got our 1 on its own. So if we count those, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. And an extra 1 is 51. Have a think what mistake I've made there, because I'm still seeing some people do this in my class sometimes. This number's 15, it's got a 1 and a 5, 1 10 and 5 1s. We needed a number that's got 5 10s and a 1. So that gives us 51 pence. And just one last one. 2, 4, 6, 8. So I've counted those as I've gone along this time. I'm getting a bit quicker. But I've just seen if I move these around, there's an extra 2 there that wasn't in order. I'm going to put these like this: 2, 4, 6, 8, and 10. And then here, nice and quick, speeding up now to have done a few of these, we've got 10 and a 5, which makes 15. So this one is the same as a 10. I'm going to just put that 10 on top of it. We've got 2 10s and a 5. If I'm writing that number, 2 10s, 20, and 5, 25 pence. So the amount that you've got, it's not the most coins makes the most money. You've got to look at how big they are. So moving on to the activity you're going to do today. Now I know not all of you have got printers, but on the handout, if you have got a printer, you could cut out some of the cards and then choose the correct sign, which we'll have a look at for these examples in a second. You're going to put the sign in the middle. For people that haven't got printers, there's a few things you could do. You could bring the worksheet up on the screen, and if you look, there are some that are a bit easier that just have coins first of all, and then the second sheet, I'll show you down here actually. Oh, I thought I had it open. There we go. So on your sheet, there are some amounts like this, and it does get a bit trickier on the second sheet, and there are notes muddled up there as well, which we'll have a look at in a second. And then the signs to cut out. If you haven't got a printer, you can just have a look at the numbers on here, at the amounts of coins, and then you would be able to write down the answer by counting on the screen, and then you could draw the correct sign and then choose a different example of coins to compare with. You could also have a look in your money box or ask somebody nicely at home if they've got some spare change, and you could use that to do the activity practically. Let's go back to the board and have a look. So we've got some slightly larger coins here as well. So here this gets a little bit tricky, so we've got some £2 coins and £1 coins as well. So a £1 coin is worth 100 one pences. A £2 coin is worth 200 one pences, 200 pence. So if we were to write this amount out, then we'd have 2, 4, and an extra one makes 5. This amount of money will be £5.50. If we look at this amount of money, so we've got how many pounds and the dot to show the decimal point, and our 50 pence. And here we've got £2 coins. And then if we look at these silver coins, we'll look for after this point, how many pence? 10 and 20 makes 30 pence. If we go back to this screen, we've got a 10 and a 20 pence, that makes 30 pence. An extra 5 makes £2 and 35 pence. So now what we can do is to choose the correct sign. This number is bigger, and just to put them in the middle. So what we'd like you to do as your activity is to do this practically. The easier example would be just to choose some coins that are smaller, 2s, 1s, 10s, 5s and 20s like we've done for this example. And on the sheet, then there are some examples like that don't have any pounds. We just scroll down. We've got this one here and this one and this one. And you can also choose some coins and do this practically if you're finding that tricky. You can also have a go at some of these that have got a mixture of pound coins, £2 coins and the pence. If you want to make it a little bit trickier, you can choose some of these groups of coins and notes that make some bigger totals. When you're feeling confident, you can write some examples in your book. I'm not going to be able to get this one number per square, it's a little bit tricky. I'm sure you can in your books though. So if we had 15 pence, it would be greater than 10 pence. If you're making it a bit trickier, we can think about having the pounds. So it could be £4 and 20 pence. Well, let's put our number as well. Question 2, £4 and 20 pence is smaller than dollars. That's something, maybe a challenge for another day. £5 and 20 pence. So that's what it might look like in your book. So you're going to be doing some practical activities, groups of coins, putting the correct sign to compare in the middle. And when you're feeling confident, you can write some examples in your book. And you can choose the correct level for yourself, whether you're going to use some smaller coins, whether you're going to use pounds and £2, or whether you're going to look at some examples like these ones, which have the notes as well. So good luck, and don't forget, ask a grown-up just to help you if you get stuck on any bits of your work. Thank you for listening.